Grab your popcorn and snacks. Find a comfy spot, take a seat or lie down, and let me transport you to a place of fantasy, ghost stories, ancient legends, odd creatures, alien encounters, and other magical topics. You may even decide to join the conversation. From faraway lands to your own backyard, with a small dash of pixie dust, turn out the lights and open your minds. The journey is about to begin. Hey, welcome everybody. Welcome. Thursday. California weather. I don't want to make you guys all jealous and stuff, but it's 72 right now. So it is really cool. I've been doing a lot of yard work. Can't beat it. But you know what'll happen? Is you know the old adage of the April showers bringing May flowers? That's what's going to happen. Is it's just going to rain and keep raining for a long time, usually, unless we're in a drought. But normally what happens is that April will be heavy rains. But for now, it's nice weather, so everybody's working on, like me, everybody's out working on their yard. It's straightened out here. There we go. Don't want to have a crooked head. Everybody's out working on their yard and doing all that good stuff, to get caught up. Because if you go up and down the street, like half the yards are done and half the yards aren't. So everybody's starting to get out and do it. Anyway, welcome everybody. My name is Charlotte. I'm going to be your host for the next hour. We got a great show for you tonight. And she's an old friend of ours, Maren Muter. She's been on before. Had a great time the last time. And we're going to have a great time tonight. I'm also the owner. Sorry about that. I had a brain thing. I'm also the owner of the California Haunts Paranormal Investigation Team based out of Sacramento, California. We're up and down the state of California, 35 of us actually. But we also have branches in Oregon, Washington, Nevada, and Hawaii. And we're a nonprofit organization. We do a lot of work for free for people, to help them with their ghost problems if they think they have a ghost problem. And if you could help me out a little bit too, because we're a nonprofit organization, so everything you see here comes out of my pocket. You can see that ticker at the bottom of what am I doing tonight? At the bottom of the page, and that's because we are, like I said, we're nonprofit. Everything you see here comes out of my pocket, headphones, you name it. So if something goes wrong, I have to pay for it all. So if you find it in your heart, PayPal.me at California Haunts, that would be great, or Venmo. You can just type in California Haunts, okay? It's just a thing, we're equipment for the team. We just want to keep things going, keep guests coming on, and all that good stuff. In the meantime, we've got a great website for this show. It's CaliforniaHauntsRadio.com that you can visit. And it's got all of our archives on there. Plus, this video is going out live. We're also going out live on YouTube. We're going out live on Facebook. We're going out live on Twitter right now. So, hi, everybody. But we're going out live. The beautiful part about the website is we have 2 years worth of archives for this version of the show. There's 2 versions of this show. This is the video version of the show. The other version is from Blog Talk Radio, from when we were on for 15 years. You can get access to those as well on the website. Okay, so we go back a long way doing this show. We've just done video in the last 2 years. But the cool thing about all this is you can click on all those archives. Go up to the top, says archives, show archives. Boom, it'll take you down the last 2 years. And right now I've got 2 years worth of video, worth of audio from Blog Talk that you guys can check out too. So it's all up there. Everything's there. The other thing is we're doing what I call a ghost tour on March 26th, Saturday, where you can join California Haunts on an actual ghost hunt. It's pretty cool. It's not one of these things where we go out with the psychic, you go out with the psychic and the psychic walks around doing this and says, oh, there's a woman standing over here in a white dress, yada, yada, yada. That's not what this is. This is actually using our equipment out in the field, like an actual investigation. You get to use our stuff, and we have some of the cool stuff that they have on TV. Okay, so you get to check that out in real life. Plus, you get to spend time with me. That's a cool thing, spend time with me. Okay, that's enough of that. I'll get off that. But anyway, if you want to get information for that, either check out the California Haunts meetup, because we do have a meetup. Let me move this over here. I hate things hanging. Or you go to CaliforniaHauntsRadio.com, go to the top, and go over to special events. Click on that. It'll all pop down for you. You can get the information on that. But I've got 2 spots left for that night. So they're going fast. So if you want to go on a real life ghost hunt, come on down. Sign on up, and I'll take you out. You go out with my team members, and they will guide you how to use the equipment, show you how we operate. Okay, well, without further ado, we're going to bring on our good friend Maren Muter, who is standing up. Sorry about that. Anyway, we're gonna bring on our good friend Maren Muter. You can see what kind of night it's gonna be already. All right, here we go.
Hi, Charlotte.
I was so into what I was saying, I didn't see you standing up.
Yeah, I was like, 1 minute, keep going.
How are you?
I'm pretty good. March 26th, you're doing a haunting tour. This is going to
Yep.
be great.
We're
That's
gonna
my
be in
son's birthday.
we're gonna be in a cemetery.
Oh, nice.
Checking out
I'm
the
going to
dead.
join in.
It's a pretty cool event. Like I said, everybody gets to use our equipment. So,
Mhm.
I mean, obviously, I'm not going to have DVR cameras set up, but I mean, everything else that can be handheld, like even the X cam, that makes the stick people
Yeah.
shapes and everything like that. That'll be out there
Oh, that's
for
cool.
everybody to try and use. So, I mean, we're going to have all kinds of really cool equipment out there.
Yeah, that's cool. Thinking of ghost stories, I'll tell you a quick one. I have a whole bunch of them. But
Go for it.
I got this really neat device, and it actually plays music from plants. So you plug it into the plants, like to their root and their leaf, and it takes the circuitry of the plants, the current of the plants, the energy, and it turns it and translates it into music. And I was doing this the other night. Well, I guess it was last month now, with at my fireside chat, and my dog started kind of acting up, and I live in a haunted castle. I'm not kidding.
Really?
So, um, and I didn't know it was haunted when I first got it. So the dog starts acting up and is growling and stuff over there, and someone said, "Oh, hey, Maren, well, if we put the electrodes on a crystal, would it make the crystal sing?" And I said, "Oh, let's try it out." So we put the electrodes on. I'll show you the electrodes wherever they are. Okay, I don't have them with me. But anyway, they're two metal pinchers and there's rubber on them.
Yes.
Oh, I just put them right here. Yeah, you're right. Okay, see? We're doing good tonight, you and I.
It's going to be one of those.
So, so these metal pinchers, if you touch them or you get the current, it will go through the device and sing a song.
Cool.
And the song depends on the current and it changes. The plants can actually change their music. So I had it on my crystal here and nothing was happening. But now my dog is like running all over the place. And I was holding the plastic part, and literally the energy, whatever my dog was chasing, went right over the top of these, and the box started singing.
Wow. That's what happens when you live in a haunted castle. Now,
It is.
what
Well,
castle do you live in? I mean, you don't have to tell us where, but I mean, how did you get a haunted castle?
Well, I didn't know it was haunted. Um, I found a rundown property that needs a lot of tender love and care. And the granite that is built, like half of it is made out of granite that was actually quarried on the property. And I think it's that granite that is bringing in either spiritual imprints, but there is one or two that are really doing conscious attempt at communications. And I actually had that happen 2 nights ago, and I filmed it, and I don't know how to show you the film, but I'm sitting up here in my office. So the whole house is under renovation.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sitting up here in my office, and my office is the circle room. My door is kind of shut, and it's just me and my dog. And all of a sudden, I hear something smash downstairs. And I'm thinking, okay, somebody's here. So I get my weapon of choice, bear spray, and I'm like creeping around going, okay, shh, don't say anything, don't say anything. My dog's hair is standing up, and we're going down the stairs and going around the corner. And I go into the kitchen, and everything is dark. And so I turn the light on in the kitchen, and I'll tell you what I didn't realize until like just today, when I was like, I wonder if I could share this video somehow. There was a teacup that I used chocolate, because I make chocolate, and 3 bags of chocolate fell off the counter, and the teacup smashed. There's no way there's nothing to
Wow.
have anything flow off. But then in addition to that, which I found out today, looking at the video, inspecting it closer, there were also 3 screws that were there. And I'll tell you the significance of 3 in a second.
Okay. Well, of
So
course.
then I'm I'm looking at it, I'm filming, I'm like, okay, it's just Gray and I, and we're here, and this is what happened. And then all of a sudden, this tinkering sound comes in through the dining room. Now, the dining room is set up right now with my dining room table looks like a construction zone because that's where all the paint, everything is. And down at the end of the haunted corridor here is a chop saw, and that is off. So the whole place is dark and black. And I get down there, and no, I didn't go down there. I just walk into the dining room area, and all of a sudden the chop saw light goes on.
Whoa.
Film that. And then I'm like, okay, what is it? And you hear kind of a rush, and like from my right to my left, and that goes down another stairway. And all of a sudden the light pops on down there. So that was my haunting. I guess it was yesterday or 2 days ago. 2 days ago. But it's my son's birthday is coming up, and his birthday is March 26th, and he passed away a few years ago, and his number is 3. So I have 3 hauntings. I had the breaking, I had the chop saw, and I had the light. So that's 3. I had 3 bags of chocolate and 3 screws. 333.
Probably him.
There you go.
Trying to talk
There's
to you.
his number.
Yeah. I mean, it's probably him trying to talk to you. You're braver than I am. There's no way in heck I would go walking down the hallways in the dark.
Yeah, I have no choice because I have no lights. We've taken all the sconces off the walls, and so literally, my light of choice today is this crow that has like a light bulb attached to it.
Wow. Wow.
So it's kind of cool. There you go. You got it.
Everybody on my ghost team knows I am afraid of the dark. I'm a ghost hunter who does not like the dark. I care when I go out, people go nuts. If I'm not behind a camera, because with an infrared camera, you can see everything, right?
Yeah.
Okay, if I'm not behind the camera, I've got this bad boy.
Oh,
okay.
nice.
And this thing.
On your head?
Yeah. So I drive everybody insane because it's so bright. But I'm like, I'm not going out in the dark.
Mm-hmm.
Even at my house, I leave lights on.
You don't actually need to be in the dark to do a ghost hunt.
No, you don't. That's what I try to tell people. But even at my house, the lights are on. I mean, or the TV's on, or something's on. I just don't do the dark.
Yeah. Interesting.
I never have. So it's funny when I do ghost hunts because people that don't know me will go, "What do you mean you're afraid of the dark?" And I'm like, "Yeah."
That's good. Well,
maybe
there.
Because I had experiences as a kid. Maybe that's the deal, because it was always, you know how your mom is about putting you to bed, right? It's always in a darkened bedroom, and I would always see things in the dark. And so maybe that's the whole issue is that comes back as a kid. I remember I had a cousin tell me that because she would get irritated because I would have the light on. And she says, "Well, you know what? You need to fill that stuff up with happy things so you can sleep at night." And I thought, okay, so while she was there, I did that after she left, the lights went back on. So yeah, you're brave. You're very brave. Yeah.
I was also afraid of the dark as a child. I saw things too. So maybe that comes with the territory.
Well,
I don't know.
When
I had to
50
be
years
brave
old,
when I grew up for some reason. I don't know why.
see, when you're 50 years old, there's some change.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah. It's craziness. So what have you been up to?
Not too much. I've been in the process of writing a couple more books. And so I have one that's about halfway done, and then I really do need to get a jump start on this other one because it's supposed to come out this fall, and I haven't. I'm like, yeah, I've started it in my brain, but there's so much stuff going on here. I just have not had a chance to sit down and actually start writing it.
Wow.
Aside from that, not too much.
I'm just blown away because you live in a castle.
Well, I don't normally tell people that, but I figured, I'm going to tell Charlotte because it's a haunted castle, and who doesn't want to hear about a haunted castle? You'll have to come out. We actually need a branch out here for this property by itself.
We should do that. Yeah, we should definitely come out. I mean, I'm just blown away by that. I mean, who buys a haunted castle? Who buys a castle?
Yeah, that's right.
You do.
I do. I did.
Well, that's really cool, though.
Yeah. And I love that the stonework, it came from the property, and I'm in the Northeast now. So this is a whole new adventure for me.
Uh-huh.
And because I'm a West Coast girl, I grew up in the Northwest. And but it's really interesting because there is so much history out here. Just like there's a ton of history on the West Coast, but it's different history out here because we have everything from, original settlements of
Yes.
the New World out here, but then we have the indigenous settlements that were here also. So, you know, seeing who is haunting the house, it could be one of those two parties, or maybe somebody we don't even
Or
realize was out
overlapping,
here
yeah.
before.
But yeah, like I always tell people, compare it to the East Coast, California is like a baby out here.
Mm.
We go back, like even our old Sacramento that we're all like, oh yeah, everybody come visit old Sacramento. It only goes back to like maybe the gold rush. That's it.
Yeah.
You're looking at maybe a little bit before the gold rush because the Indians were out, the Native Americans were there, but beyond that, that's it. It doesn't go
Yeah.
back that far.
Yeah, not really. And then you have Chinese tradesmen, the further you go up north. But
Right.
still, I mean, really, you're right. It is so young out there, and especially when it comes to ghosts and stuff. So really, you can kind of pinpoint where these hauntings are coming from, and time frames. And out here, it's interesting because we have two resident ghosts, and I'll go ahead, if you don't mind, I'll tell
Go
more
for
ghost
it.
stories of the house. Why not?
That's what we're here for.
We're on California haunts, right?
It's my freebie Friday today, so this is my
That's
Friday.
right.
So
So, um, we were out here, and just before construction started, I broke my leg, unfortunately. So now I was like, I'm getting ready to have a great winter in the Northeast, a real old Northeast winter. And I break my leg, and I'm sitting here. And my mom came out to help me for a little bit. So we went to a doctor's appointment, and my contractor, so construction commences, and my contractor comes out here, and we tell him, okay, hey, we're leaving. And he says, okay, no problem. And it's just him in the house. And he's kind of walking around and checking things out. And all of a sudden, two women's voices come from the basement area, the
wow.
lowest level floor. And he thought it was us because he heard the women's voices,
Mhm.
but he couldn't distinguish the words. And he said the voices were a little bit off, but he could definitely tell that they were feminine. So he calls me and he says, Maren, where are you? And I said, we're heading to the doctor's appointment. And he was like completely flushed when he told me the story in person. And we're like, that's interesting. So a few weeks later, my mom and I are sitting. We have our bear spray, by the way. Well, we didn't. This is when I decided I was going to start using bear spray for self-protection. And so we're sitting up in my office because really that's the only place that we can sit. And all of a sudden we hear voices. Oh no, I think we were asleep. Well, because I woke her up. I was like, Mary, 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 somebody's downstairs. And she hears it, and we come out. I'm like, what do we have? What do we have? I was like, here, have some bear spray. Because really, somebody was downstairs. So we creep down the first flight, and we go through, and then we hear the voices downstairs, and we hear the movement downstairs. Unbelievable. I mean, you could not mistake it for anything else aside from voices. So we're like, we're going to call the police, and we'll close our eyes and you can leave, and we won't say anything, but now's your chance before we call the police. We're like, with our bear spray, try not to mace ourselves. But it was the ghosts. It was them. And then you
Wow.
hear them periodically walking. So now it feels like they're like walking through the house, like, what's she doing? What's she Why is she doing that?
What happens? Like if you have to leave the house, the dog is there. What's the dog like when you get home?
Fine. She has become accustomed to ghosts. Luckily, she's a puppy and getting introduced to ghosts.
Hmm.
But you can always tell when they're around or when the energy shifts in the room, because all of a sudden all the hair on the back stands up. Sometimes she'll growl, but mostly if she's growling, she's still waggling her tail because she thinks it's a great game, whatever is happening. There was one time that it was like throwing her toys. And I was like, oh my gosh. So it really is. I mean, it's like poltergeist activity, but it's a nice
Wow.
poltergeist.
Wow.
And it is active. It is just active. Crazy.
Well, a lot of it is right now is because you're remodeling. I will
Yeah.
do it every time.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
'cause
I'm disturbing everything and it's saying,
because that's what
Maren.
you do. You know, I asked about the dog because my house is active too, and
Mhm.
I remember going to work, and I would come home, and my poor dog would be hiding behind the recliner in the corner. You know, she'd just be back there like, "Oh no, I don't want to see, don't want to know, don't want to see." But she would see stuff in here all the time. You
Yeah.
know, and I know my girl. I just got another Australian Kelpie,
Mm.
and she barks at nothing. We'll be sitting there watching TV, and all of a sudden she starts barking down, at the hallway and stuff. And I'm like, no, you don't need to talk to them. We're good. Just
Yeah.
stay there, you know. But yeah, that's what I was wondering about the dog because like I left my poor Maddie, who also was an Australian Kelpie. She used to hide behind the chair.
Mhm.
And I used to feel sorry for her. I come home from work and she'd be like, "Oh, thank God you're home, Mom." You know,
Mom, I wanted the light on.
yeah, leave the light on, Mom. I don't like this stuff. But yeah, I mean, yeah, it's incredible when your house is active like that. It's incredible.
Yeah.
You know,
It's a
and
surreal feeling, that's for sure.
and then like there's old houses that we've done as a team, and our psychics, our poor psychics, where they've remodeled the houses, right, or
Yeah.
remodeled hotels. And I've had psychics on my team walk into walls because there were doors there before.
That's funny.
It is funny, not to them, but it's funny to me. Boy,
Yeah.
I'll tell you, you know,
Mhm.
that's incredible. So you should be getting used to your ghosts by now. I mean, they're starting
Oh,
to
yeah. I mean, I've been around ghosts so much my whole life that
right.
it's just one of those things. So, I think if I hadn't had ghosts, I probably would have been like, "Wow, this is boring."
Till they start moving stuff around, then it gets exciting.
Yeah.
But I
That's right.
mean, with what you do for a living, and the stuff you study, like your past lives and all that. I mean, they know this, so so
Yeah.
you're like a beacon in the night for them.
Probably. They're like, "Oh, hey, Maren's here. We can talk to her now."
I did a thing out in Placerville one time at the Hangman's Tree Saloon, where while it was still open, where I had the dowsing rods and I was talking to whatever was in the building, and the psychic runs in and goes, "You're not going to believe this. They're lined up out in the street. They want to talk to you." See, so for you, what they're doing now that you've opened all this, they're lining up on your property, probably just
Yep.
waiting to come see you.
They're pitching their tents.
There's barbecues going on. You don't even
That's
know
right. There's this, cute show. I don't normally watch a lot of television until I broke my leg. And there's this cute show on, Amazon, it's called Ghosts, and I had never seen it before, I don't know if you saw it, but it's kinda funny. This couple goes and they're gonna renovate an old bed and breakfast, and they have ghosts from, thousands of years ago, and then what kind of one of each, um, generation.
That's
And these these ghosts are all talking to each other, basically having the barbecue, waiting to talk to somebody. And this woman ends up hitting her head. Now she sees all of them and can't stop it. So it's kind of cute.
I haven't seen it, but I've heard of it, so I'll have to really check it out.
Yeah,
I like funny stuff like that.
it is. It's just a lighthearted show. And I was like, oh, this is nice. I don't have to close my eyes or cover my ears. I can just enjoy it.
I do. I like funny stuff like that, like the one about the guy that had I think it was the ghost boy. Was it the ghost boyfriend or the ghost girlfriend that came back? I can't remember the
Oh,
movie.
I don't remember that one.
Yeah, but it was pretty funny. I used to love Topper. When I was a kid, the Topper movies. They were like the
Yeah.
greatest movies back in the old days.
Hmm.
Topper, you guys, now that you're all young, all you young folks, I know y'all hate black and white, but Topper is the way to go if you want to see a good ghost movie that's hilariously funny.
That's it.
There's 2 Topper movies.
Yeah. So what else are you guys gonna get going on? like March 26th, do you have any other events or anything that you guys are doing? Or how do your
Probably
clients
we'll do
find you?
another one. We'll do another one. I'm gonna try and do them every other month with people. You know, 'cause I'd like to do.
Mhm.
I like the next one after that. I'd like to do an old hotel.
Yeah.
You know, the thing is, what happened was with COVID ending like it did, people want to get married in these hotels. So we had booked the hotel to do this in, and then we got a call and said, "We're sorry, we have a wedding and they pay better." So you
Yeah.
better pick another weekend. And I went, "No, I got all these people signed up." You know.
Yeah.
So
There's
yeah.
a town in Nevada and it has that Clown Hotel. Do you know that
Oh
town?
yeah.
It's old mining town.
Oh yeah.
And across the street from the Clown Hotel is that haunted hotel.
Nice.
I think it's like room 6. You should seriously go out there because you can go and you can do a tour of the mine that's probably very haunted.
That
You
would
can
be
just
cool.
creep people out with the Clown Hotel that is just insanely creepy. And I don't know, I mean, maybe some of your viewers love clowns, and if you love clowns, that's happy. I'm happy for you. You can go stay at the Clown Hotel. I will not be staying at the Clown Hotel, but I'll stay across the street in the other haunted hotel. So that I'll look up that town and I'll tell you which
Yeah,
one
let's
it
do
is.
that.
But
Hey, I was into clowns till the movie Poltergeist.
yeah,
I was fine till Poltergeist hit.
that was it.
You know, and then I didn't like chairs next to my bed. That did it
Mm-mm.
for me. Just completely did it. There couldn't be
Oh,
anything propped up by the bed or anything like that after that movie.
exactly. Oh my gosh, I'll never forget it. That's like one of those movies that if you were to watch it today, you're like, that was it. That was what scared me. But oh my gosh, back then that was like really great graphics, and you're sitting here going, oh my gosh, how did she suck into the television and the closet and
Yeah.
everything else?
Well, I have a story about I tell my audience about it about me go about one of my first ever ghost hunts. But I wasn't an official ghost hunter. I was doing it for a newspaper article in
Mhm.
Woodland, and we went to this bakery, and what this ghost would go through the bakery and it would like open the flour sacks and spread the flour around. So I had an EMF meter. I was just
Mhm.
doing the article. I'm chasing this thing around. I could tell because it was a warm spot. So I'm chasing this thing around. I probably pissed it off, and I'm sitting there. And my photographer goes downstairs because they have the basement part that used to be the old street and all that. He couldn't get any clear photos downstairs, and so he comes up and he goes, "I can't get anything down there." And I said, "Well, let's just sit down and talk, and we'll finish the interview off and take photos of the people." And we're sitting there, and there was this clock about 20 feet away from me up on a wall.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I've been following this thing around. I know it's here. I get it. I'm trying to get all the things. All of a sudden, the clock falls off the wall. And it was like that scene in Poltergeist for me. I've got the water glass, and I'm like, well,
Yeah.
that'll do it for the interview. You know, and the people were laughing. But I mean, yeah, it was just like, that's what I felt. It was like that one scene in Poltergeist, when they come downstairs after they looked in the mirror and all that. And the gal's like, with the
Yeah.
teacup. That's how I was.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
I was still new at ghost hunting back then.
What got you into ghost hunting? I know I'm interviewing you now, but
My
really,
house.
yeah.
I grew up. The house has always been active. I was the only one in the house that saw things.
Mhm.
You
Wow.
know, like I said, at night I would see. I had bunk beds, and it would look like there were hands coming down from the top of the bunk beds trying to touch my head, that kind of thing.
Mhm.
Or I'd see stuff coming off. So yeah, I've always seen stuff in this house. And then as I got older, when I got involved with the paranormal group, with the
Yeah.
psychics, oh my God, yeah, everything just went. And
Wow.
I would drive home and flashlights would turn on by themselves in my car, and then they would laugh and go, ha 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 ha, ha, you're gonna learn all about this, ha ha ha, and I'd get home and the TV would turn on and off by itself while I was sitting there, and all this stuff
Mhm.
would be going on. So yeah, that was growing up in this house. This house, I used to come home from school. I was a latchkey kid,
Yeah.
and so I would come home at 3 o'clock every day, and I'd make my top ramen, and prop myself up at the at the little breakfast bar nook thing. And I was sitting there one day, and I saw this what looked like a white sheet go from my fireplace to my center divider, and I thought, "Oh my God, what is that?" And then I never saw it again. And then like 4 years later, I saw it go the other way, and my mother thought I was nuts because I wouldn't walk that way. I'd
Wow.
always be like, "No, I'll go the other way around. I'm good." But I was always seeing stuff, always. And then like I said, once I got going with the paranormal group, my abilities just went.
Yeah.
And
Amazing.
somewhere along the line when this house, because this house was on Riverland, there was a fisherman that died on the property and bled to death. He didn't realize he was dead, so he went kind of nuts.
Yeah.
And I remember as I was starting out to do this work, because when I started out, I wasn't doing I was I was filming another team for a TV
Oh,
show.
oh, interesting.
We came out the same time Ghost Hunters did, only we were on public access.
Darn it.
Dang, huh? And
Yeah.
I remember I could see this guy out of the corner of my eye when I would walk
Mhm.
through by the divider, and he was in my dining room, and he would lunge out to try and grab me. So
Wow.
I'd be running there, and then I started to hear voices in my house and things were, so it picked up. But now it's settled down. I think a
Mhm.
lot of it is because, and I hate to say it, my father passed away, my mother passed away, so my mother my mother's probably running around, with a big stick somewhere going, beating these guys
Be
down so they
nice.
don't bother me as much. But I mean, I still get
Wow.
stuff even after investigations that happen, where I come home like and like the front of the air conditioner one night got ripped off and thrown across the room. I
Mhm.
can tell when it's not, because most of the ones that are here are relatives, so I can tell when it's not one of my regulars. Like
Yeah.
you'll be able to tell when,
That is
once you
true.
start getting used to what's in your house, you can
That's
tell
true.
which ones don't belong there. So I could tell,
Yeah.
right away that it's not, like
Yeah.
my relatives are not going to rip off the air conditioner, the front of the air conditioner. So yeah.
Yeah. It's interesting. You can't even if you're kind of new to the area. I don't know if you get this when you go into the houses, but you can tell when a ghost has been in that particular space for a long time versus
Mhm.
something transient. The energy is just so different.
Yeah. You're welcome, Tim. See? Thank you for streaming.
Oh,
I love streaming. I'm all about streaming.
all
But
right,
yeah,
good.
and also, what I found too, over the years, and I don't like seeing them. I can tell when they're there because I get what they call the spider webs,
Mhm.
but I can tell when
Mhm.
it's a male or female
Yeah,
by the heaviness of the spider web. I mean, I
interesting.
have seen them. Like I got to the point with my abilities that before I would go on investigations with my team, or before I go to film or whatever, that I would see whatever we were going to investigate ahead of time.
Yep. Yeah, because you totally can because it's I mean, the energy is so intertwined that I mean, that's very similar to how remote viewing works too. You can access what you're going to see, where you're going to go, and so that's on the spiritual dimension and even the earthbound dimension plane.
And
You
then I
can
had to work,
do that.
one of the most haunted towns in California. So I mean, that didn't help it. I was seeing. I mean, I took off one after. I used to get off at 5, and it was always some stupid meeting at 7. So I'd have to, have dinner and park somewhere and just hang out. So I was just the civic center had big windows on it,
Mhm.
and Placerville is known as Old Hangtown. And the hangman reportedly walks, from the courthouse, well, down the Hangman's Tree, where the Hangman's Tree Saloon was, and
Mhm.
people see him do this. So I'm sitting there, kind of trying to nap, okay, and I look out I look up at the big windows, and I see him walk behind my car, and I'm going, "That's a guy in an executioner's outfit," you know, and it dawns on me who it is, and then I
Uh-huh.
look over and there's nothing there, but I clearly saw him walk behind my car.
Yeah.
And I remember the first day driving up Main Street to go cover a story, and I hadn't grounded myself.
Uh-huh.
Big mistake. I got
Mhm.
totally lost, didn't know where the hell I was, and I finally realized what it was because I hadn't grounded myself
Mhm.
going through this town. I didn't think it was going to be that intense, but it is.
I can only imagine. I'm like trying to imagine first times ghost hunting and
Hey, I have been goosed by ghosts several times. When
have
I
you?
close,
They
you're
probably
sitting
thought it was
there.
St. Patrick's Day. You weren't wearing green.
Oh no, the stomach does a flip,
Yep.
and then I'm going to be tired for a week after this. This is going to wipe me out. You know, I was even doing a post one time at an investigate after doing an investigation that we
Mhm.
had filmed. I was sitting there, talking to the guy and going, "Well, this is what we did, and this is what we got." And all of a
Yeah.
sudden, the SOB got me. It went right through me.
Right
And I
then,
was just
during afterwards. That's amazing.
right
Well, I guess,
during it. And
they're not ending tape. They're like, "Okay,
no,
well, I
they're
guess
just
we're done filming. We're
they're
done."
gonna plow right through, yeah. And I had to and I was being filmed at the time, and I had to just keep going, and I knew what had happened, and I just thought, "Man, I wanna puke. I'm
Yep.
good. I can do this." You know? Yeah, people don't realize that. When you get goose got by a ghost, guys, this is what happens. Your stomach does a flip when they go through you. It makes for an interesting thing, you know? But yeah. Or if a psychic, like people don't realize either that when you talk to other psychics, you have to shut a door on yourself because not every psychic is invasive, but there
Yeah.
are some that want to get into your head.
Yeah, they
And that's
wanna
another
talk
way
to
you
you.
get tired
They're
because
loud and insistent.
I can feel when somebody, has gotten into it. Like, look, if I let my guard down or I
Mhm.
don't realize I'm talking to someone that's psychic, I can tell because I can feel my right arm will start tingling.
Yep,
I
yep,
can
'cause
tell when
they're
they're there.
zoning in on your and they're honing in on your energy and what you're exuding and trying to get through that
Yeah,
little
yeah. And for what it's
barrier.
worth, you guys, for what it's worth, if a psychic does that to you when you're talking to them, they're not a good psychic. Psychics don't psychic unless it's something of a health issue or something
Yeah,
that they're trying
or,
to find
you
out.
need to ask. I
Yeah,
mean,
need to ask.
you need to ask,
You need
and
to ask.
if you haven't asked, then the psychic shouldn't say anything, really, truly. I
Yeah,
mean, unless you ask them, if you have a psychic just walk across the room and tell you something, you need to say, "Yeah, no." You need to ask.
yeah, yeah. Because I mean, that's intrusive. You don't
It
do
is,
that. Psychics
it
don't
is.
do that to other people. The other thing that freaked me out was I had a person. Well, she finally joined my team eventually, but on the other team when I was the first time I went out to film people at the Woodland Opera House, and she was a channeler.
Wow.
The problem with this was that she didn't tell me she was a channeler, and she would never tell anybody when she was going to do it.
Yeah.
So she's
Wow.
walking across the floor, and I'm watching her change personalities.
Huh.
And I looked at the guy next to me, and I went, "Oh my God, we're here with Sybil." And he goes, "No, no, no, she's channeling." That was just craziness when somebody does that. Now Karen
Wow.
on our team, she'll go, "Okay, I'm going to let her in. It's going to be cool." But yeah, I mean, I had to
Wow.
get used to that. Eventually, she joined my team, so I was used to it by then.
Mhm.
But I mean, when you first come in contact with somebody like that and they don't tell you they're doing it,
Mhm. And it
it's
just
just,
happened.
you're just like, what in the heck is going on with her?
I can imagine that is kind of something to see.
Because her voice will be high pitched, and then all of a sudden, hello, and it's just
Yeah.
like this. It's craziness.
Wow. Wow. So how many people do you have on your team now?
I have 35
Wow.
here in
That's pretty
California.
good.
Yeah, the bulk of them are in Sacramento, and then everybody else is like, I call them packs of two, but teams of two spread out. Usually married couples
Mhm.
out in different areas. But we're almost in every county.
Wow, that's amazing. So you have some down in Monterey?
I do.
Nice. That's good. And where in Oregon are you?
We are in Cave Junction.
Oh, nice. I know
Yeah,
exactly where that is.
yeah,
That's a good area.
yep. Bigfoot country.
Yes,
Yeah,
it
we're in
is.
Cave Junction in
I've
Oregon.
gone on many a Bigfoot hunt down there.
Have you seen footprints?
I believe I have seen footprints, but it wasn't so defined, but you could tell in the underbrush. I mean,
Mhm.
I grew up in Oregon, so you kind of see these things hiking around and you just kind of take them for granted. It's not like they're prevalent. It's not like a bear print. You can tell a bear print, and so you're paying attention and you see this depression, and it's not just a single depression, it's a multiple depression in the rainforest. So this was up in the Olympic national park and national forest, and you could see that, and there's no way a human foot is that big. And but the depression and then the multiple steps through it were up there, so that
That's
was really
awesome.
cool. It is
See,
cool.
I've never seen
And so
footprints.
then my youngest son and I, we were always on a Sasquatch hunt.
That's really cool. Really cool.
So
Julie Morgan says she would go ghost hunting with you two ladies.
Oh, nice.
Very nice.
Thank you, Julie.
Never boring, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Like
Do you like ghosts,
I
Julie?
told my team the story about I have this R2D2 that somebody bought me. A mecha, the RC R2D2, and
Uh-huh.
you could set the thing up for motion detection. And it's
Wow.
got a light on its head, and like R2D2, and it beeps. And
Uh-huh.
I didn't tell people on my investigation team that I had set it up, and some poor soul went down the hallway. Boy, I've never seen anybody run so fast. And what it does is it follows. It has a follow mode. So when
Oh,
when
great.
they took off running, it followed them down the hallway. So it was
That's
chasing
good
them
for
down the hallway.
Halloween too.
So yeah, Julie, you go with us. It's fun. I tell you, you go with me. I have fun. I don't like to stress out during ghost hunts.
No.
But I
Julie,
admit,
do you
I
like
push.
ghosts?
Huh?
Does Julie like ghosts?
Yeah, I guess Julie likes ghosts.
Oh, good.
I gotta admit though, I've been pushed downstairs. I've been scratched, but I mean,
Yeah.
that's par for the course. It's what happens. What I don't like is if I get scratched at home. That's a no-no.
Yeah.
But if I'm on location, whatever. It's part of the investigation. It's what we do.
Huh.
It's what we do.
Right.
So, have you tried? Now that you have these things in your house, have you tried to like really communicate with them yet?
Not too much. I kind of like it when they just hang around. I don't try to get rid of them or anything. I don't know. I mean, I think a long time ago, probably in my 20s, early 30s, I would be like, I wonder who, and I'd reach out and, try to communicate with them. But I just kind of like, if they want to talk to me, they can talk to me. If we're both in the kitchen, we can both be in the kitchen. It just is to me like having a roommate, I guess. And even the poltergeist activity, I've learned over the years to how to switch it from something that's negative or would be seen as scary to something that is just more like throwing a book off the shelf, rather than blood dripping from the ceiling.
Well, like when you go to take a shower. This is
I know when they're in the bathroom
okay.
and it's just like, okay. And then I literally tell and I see we're on the same wavelength because
See?
this evening as I was taking my shower, I'm like, being naked is just natural. This is how I am. And I'm like talking to my dog and I'm talking to whomever that I'm just like, I know I'm going to California Haunts tonight and you're watching me take the shower. That's fine. You've seen a body before. And I literally do that, but it is weird to think somebody's watching you, but
They're
it's not
keeping
like they're
time.
actually watching you. It's not like they're actually saying, oh wow, or oh wow, look at her. She hasn't shaved her legs in like 2 years. you know? So
They're peeping toms. That's what they are.
that's right. But I mean they're not thinking the same thing that we
Well, no,
think.
they're not. But the thing is, you gotta remember this. You're remodeling your house, right? And this is something I don't go to the bathroom unless I'm desperate to use a toilet in like an old hotel.
Yeah.
Because I always have visions of somebody like right here going, "Hey, hey,"
Yeah.
And one thing you got to remember is they're able to fix the plumbing, okay, that's above a certain point, but the plumbing below the certain point is original plumbing.
Yeah.
And plus
Yeah.
you got the water running through. So this is this is where all this action's coming from in the bathroom. Sorry,
Nice.
don't want to scare you. It's
No,
all
that's
good.
okay. That's okay. I'll just keep my lid shut. No.
It's something, it's something to remember about all that,
I'll
right?
be I'll be going to the bathroom in the woods from now on. Thank you, Charlotte.
But that's the truth. They can't get to all the way unless they do a complete rebuild of all your plumbing.
Yeah,
You're
and then,
getting plumbing from like way back when. So they're all coming into that plumbing.
nice. Great. I'll have people come and this is our toilet. You're gonna be using outside unless you want unless you want company as you're using the bathroom today.
Since you're a woman, it's probably going to be a man
Yep.
standing there watching you pee. Yeah,
Yeah.
but yeah, that's just an FYI about the plumbing because that's why a lot of like if I take a team into an old hotel, the psychics will disappear, and I know right where to find them. They'll all be in the bathroom talking to whatever's in the bathroom.
It's like Harry Potter and the toilet in the Harry Potter book.
It is
Yeah.
seriously, it is. So I try not, unless, like I said, unless I absolutely have to, I just don't deal with it. I did a, we did a theater out in Vacaville, and an older theater, and they left me there alone. I said, okay, I'll stay alone because we didn't have a key to the door, so if we shut the door, we were locked out. So I said, okay, I'll stay here. You guys go get dinner. I'm good. So I'm walking around. I'm thinking, there's ghosts in here, and it's dark.
Mom, turn the light on.
I go into the bathroom, and they didn't. The guy that ran the theater neglected to tell me that it was ergonomically green designed. So when I walked in, I go in the stall, the lights pop on, and I'm like, ah! And then the toilet flushes.
Oh,
And
because
people
it's
on the
so
street were coming in because they thought, they thought I was being attacked in this theater because I had myself so hyped over being watched in there and all this other stuff that when all this started happening, it was just crazy.
you're like, bring the cameras.
Scare the ghost hunter. That's it. Spook the ghost hunter. But yeah, I mean, it's things like that. It's amazing what's happened over the last like almost 20 years of ghost hunting.
Mhm.
The stuff you see, the stuff you experience.
Yeah, it's different. And with the cameras today, being able to pick up different things and recorders and all the different tools of technology that the ghosts can interact with, it is amazing the differences.
It is, and like that X cam, a lot of people have issues with the SLS camera, but
Mhm.
the only way I'll use it is with a psychic.
Mm.
If it's because I found, and I did this in my house. I don't test things in my house on purpose for obvious reasons.
Yeah.
Because I've done like promo stuff with like my friend Monica in the house, and we picked up voices, and I'm like, I don't want to hear you. I'm good, you know. But there's I was playing. I got the X cam out the other day to test it out and see if everything was working on it, and there was one in my living room, and I was able to ask it to move to different places
Interesting.
on command. That's how I
Yeah.
got it to do that. And that's one thing, like with the X cam, the only way I'll use that SL, that you know what I'm talking about, the one that does
Yeah.
the stick people. The only way I'll use that is with the psychic, so that the psychic can direct it to do things,
Hmm.
or she'll the psychic will put her hand out and it will grab her hand, and things like that. So that's cross verification with that thing.
Mhm.
Otherwise, it could be a chair or whatever you're hitting with it. But like the
Yeah.
one I had, I would be like, well, I'll move over in front of the TV or move over, the divider or whatever, and it was moving as I was asking it to go. So yeah, the technology is definitely awesome that
Mhm.
you can use. I think that XCam is one of the most fabulous things they come out with, and a lot of people don't like them anymore. But I have no issues with them if they're used. It's like anything else with equipment. If it's used correctly
Yeah.
and in certain ways, you can't deny what it does. But a lot of people don't bother to play around with it and see what it does. So then you get this hodgepodge of stuff
Yeah.
that's not credible. You know?
That is true. That is true. And if you're familiar with what you're using and it's working and it's working for you, it doesn't mean that you have to go get the next best thing because the tools you need don't need to be complicated, but you need to know how to use them
Right.
and know how to read them. And
Right.
then, it can you're good. So
So what do you now that you know your house, the place you live in is haunted? What's your next steps now? Like you say, you're gonna try and embrace the fact that you have ethereal roommates. But
yes.
I mean, how much more work do they have to do on the house? Because the more work they do, the more active it's gonna get.
Yeah, so I hope we've rounded the corner towards the end. I think I have about 2 more weeks, and then it's just gonna be like little punch list items, like put all the electrical outlets back on, and at least the covers, and put the lights back on, and so that's gonna be the last week. So I think next week we're gonna hopefully finish the kitchen, and the other thing is I think that, just because I love the energy and I love history, all the wood that's going in is from like an old barn from the 1800s. So I'm adding that
Wow.
into the house. And so I'm asking for trouble. I'm a glutton for punishment,
Absolutely.
I guess.
And you're sensitive, so I mean, bring it on, baby.
That's right. I'll never be lonely.
No, you'll never be lonely or bored in the house. That's for sure.
No.
And the dog, the
And
dog
the
has
dog.
company all the time. You don't have to worry about that when you do leave.
That's right. That's right.
Good
So
lord.
2 more weeks. I'm hoping it's 2 more weeks, and then after the of, like, intense stuff. And then after that, it's all gonna be so much easier, and hopefully all the stuff will be moved out, and I can sleep on a bed, I guess. That would be great.
That'd be nice. What are you sleeping on now? The couch?
I have a chair and um, like a ottoman pushed up against the chair, and then I kinda
Wow.
snuggle down into it.
Oh, I'd come out there, they'd have to pry me out of that sucker.
Yeah.
I'm too old for that stuff now. You know?
Mhm.
You know? You gotta make an agreement with your ghost. That's the key. That's what I do here. Okay? It's I know you're here. You know I know you're here. Don't
Yeah,
scare me. It's all good.
that's right.
That's what you
Yeah.
do.
Unless it's my son, he knows I
Right.
love to be startled, and so he still will jump out in the middle of nowhere and scare the daylights out of me. But, that I asked for that
Sure.
specifically. So,
Sure.
but yeah,
Absolutely.
I
Absolutely.
agree with you. I I don't want them to be doing things that I don't want them to be doing.
Well, yeah. Just like my dog, one of my dogs passed away. One of my kelpies passed away in December after Christmas. I've seen her.
Mhm.
And it's funny because I don't know what it is about me seeing I see her I'll see her in a dream once in a while, which is fine.
Mhm.
But when I see him in the house, I only see the rear ends. I don't know what it is about the rear ends. And I have this plastic plant, well, not silk plant on one of
Mhm.
my mom's old walkers. And I have it, you know, put in the like walkway area. And I see this tail go, and all I saw was the tail. I saw the butt and the tail, and the tail actually hit the plant, so I could see the plant move. And I thought it was the new dog. And so I thought,
Mhm.
"Well, okay, where's Gypsy?" I turned around and Gypsy's behind me. So it was that other dog. She went walking through the hall. I get stuff like that all the time.
Yeah.
I'm
I
used to it.
like it.
When you live
That's a
in a
good
haunted
thing.
house, you get used to it after a while,
I think so. I think
you
so.
know? You know?
Yeah, so what do you do for people? Do you, like, try to get rid of the ghosts, or, you just try to make the agreement with the ghosts, like, "Hey, you can stay here, just don't bother them." What do you guys do?
It depends on what the person wants.
Yeah.
You know? It used to be years ago before TV came out, and I'm not cutting TV shows, but it used to be when I first started doing this, it was always Uncle Bob
Mhm.
or somebody.
I'm gonna say something funny. Every time I talk about a spiritual entity, uh, people that know me, they'll be like, "Oh, Maren always talks about Uncle Bob." So
Yeah,
you
see?
and I have the same Uncle Bob, I guess.
Yeah, yeah. So, and it's changed so much because TV, instead of like the way ghost hunters started was that they hardly found anything when they were out, and now they're always finding something. Or you get the ones that's it's always a demon.
Mhm.
So the way
Always
things have
always a
changed,
demon.
yeah. So the way things have changed when people call, automatically they think it's a demon. It's not
Yeah,
like it used to be. So our job is 10 times harder going out to where, oh, we just want an exorcism or a cleansing on the house. Well, that's fine, except we don't know what we're dealing with yet. You just
yeah,
cannot, if it's a Native American ghost, you can't go out and just do a regular Catholic cleansing or something like that on it. It's not going to work. So people get kind of frustrated, disappointed with us because they want us to come out right away and do all this and sage and all this stuff. And you're like, well, no, certain things work with certain entities. So it's a question of going out. We have a very long drawn out questionnaire to talk to people.
mhm,
If there's several people involved, in the house, we'll take them aside so they're not building on each other's stories. And we'll
yeah,
interview everybody in the house, do a walk around, find out where all the high EMF is because
yeah,
somebody might have an EMF cage going on too.
yeah,
Where it's making them paranoid or whatever. So we have to check all that out, and then we'll come out do the investigation. I actually have a psychic that does remote reads,
mhm,
so I'll take a picture of the front of the house. Don't tell her where it's at. Just send it over to her. See what she picks up on it, and then I have a different psychic come out to do the field work on the night of the investigation.
mhm,
And then for our DVR cameras, I'll have her walk around and say, tell me where you think the most activity is going to be tonight. So she'll do it, and she'll place the DVR cameras, for us and stuff like that. Then we'll do a full investigation with it, go over all the evidence, and it's not like TV, guys. It's not 15 minutes. It's 3 or 4 days going over audio and everything. And then come back and say, look, this is what we think's going on in the house, and it's up to you. It doesn't seem like it wants to hurt you, so you
Mhm.
guys feel you can live with this, or if it is hurting you, we can either figure out how to get it out ourselves, or call somebody in that can do it.
Mhm.
It's
That's
involved.
good. That's good. I mean, I think it keeps your job interesting because you're
Yes.
gonna you actually have to go in and figure out what it is
Mhm.
and say it isn't only bad. You don't have a demon.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then you can explain, then you get the chance to educate the homeowner too, or the people
Right.
that are living in the house.
Exactly.
So
Exactly. It's about educating people, not
you
like.
can take them down a few steps from the haunting TV shows that they're watching.
Well, yeah, and sometimes it's nothing. Sometimes it's a high EMF level in the house.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
just was poor old woman was living in this apartment, and she came to us because she couldn't stay in the apartment because the voices and the things were touching her in this apartment. And we go in there, and she happened to be in the middle apartment in this apartment complex, and all the wiring was running all over around her.
All over house. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
So what did I tell her? I said, I don't know what your money's like, but you're going to have to move. And she
Mhm.
moved, and she hasn't had a problem since.
Yeah.
So you run into that stuff. Or you run
Yep.
into people with little kids too, where the poltergeist activity is real high, and it's because the kids of it, the kids like 12, they're going through puberty.
Yeah.
That stuff happens, so you get
Yeah.
that, you know. So it is different, it's like going out and having to deal with a puzzle all the time and figure it out. Sometimes I might use 3 or 4 different psychics
Wow.
on the job to get, because sometimes some ghosts won't talk to certain psychics.
Hmm.
So
Interesting.
sometimes it takes a different type of, a different personality to bring those particular entities out. So sometimes I'll do 3 or 4 different psychics on a job.
Wow. And how do you find your psychics?
They they come to me usually online,
Mhm.
and I'm gonna give a secret away. I'm gonna give it. What you say? I have high EMF here. Yes, Jerry. Yes, and you're sensitive too, so that's not helping. But usually they come to me, and then I have a lead field psychic on the team, and so we'll usually go out to lunch, meet up, and then we'll take them on an investigation, see how they do.
Mhm.
Because like I said, I'll have somebody do a pre-read on it, and then
Yeah.
like when we have a new psychic on staff or who wants to be on staff, we'll probably take the lead our lead field psychic out with us
Yeah.
so we can gauge and see how this person does. Before, but usually they come to us. It's amazing how many
Mhm.
psychics there are out there
Yeah.
that want to
Yeah.
do this type of work.
I imagine they all want to do this kind of work.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, this is kinda like what they strive I don't know. I mean, I would imagine this is what they're striving for, is
Right.
to go
It
out
doesn't make
and
them money. It
go
just
on
depends on the
site
psychic
and
too. I mean, there's psychics that we work with people on our team that all they want to do is make bucks too.
Mhm.
I won't pledge your house unless you pay.
Yeah.
I'm like, no, 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 you can't. How can you be like that? And if you're somebody who's
Exactly.
got a kid that's in dire need of help, don't even go there with me.
That's right. No, I do the same thing. I mean, I'm donation basis as
Yeah,
well, so it just works out that way, and I think it's fair.
yeah, yeah. I think it's fair too. But it's like I'm not gonna turn somebody away that needs help just because
Mhm.
you want to charge arm and leg to help them. No, 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 no. So yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, there's a big pull. In fact, we're kind of in a rebuild mode right now because of COVID. We were off for so
Mhm.
long, so we're
Yeah.
starting to rebuild everything and get everybody back together. And
Yeah. How's that going after COVID?
it's going okay. Like I said, this is the first thing we're going to be doing. We did a couple ghost hunts during COVID that involved kids
Mhm.
because it's important. You don't want kids to be
Yeah.
terrified of their houses. And then after that, we kind of slowed down. And then now this thing on the 26th is our first one in a while.
Yeah. And how did you pick the cemetery that you're going to?
We've gone out there before.
Yeah.
There's
And it's
not a
pretty
lot
active?
that are open at night like that.
Mhm.
So this one is open at night, so we're able to get in there and get access as long as we don't like break anything or anything like that. We're
Yeah.
very respectful.
Oh,
there.
that's
There's
good.
Native American graves out there, and there's graves dating back to like 1840.
Oh, wow. So
This
you
area.
go in first and just kind of map out the cemetery and say, "Okay, let's head this way,"
Yeah,
and so you
yeah. And the Native
it's not just
American graves
random?
are all on the outside. There's a fenced area where everybody else is, and the Native American graves are all on the outside part. So nobody's allowed to go in there out of respect. But you
Mhm.
can feel yourself being watched.
Really?
I'll be sitting there doing an EVP session or something, and I'm forever looking over my, looking back over my shoulder. And it's the Native
Wow.
Americans that are watching, from the tree line.
Hmm.
So they
That's
want to
pretty
make
neat.
sure we're not going to mess anything up out there.
Yeah.
So yeah,
That's
so
really
we've
neat.
been going out there for years. We train people out there and stuff.
Mhm.
A lot of our
Huh.
training comes, you know, but
Yeah, and how are you training people? I don't know, I'm just like, "Let me interview you, Charlotte." And how do you train people?
we have a very, I mean, I've got a training program that's 2 or 3 hours.
Oh, wow. Wow.
Ridiculous about how we do stuff. We have a lot of techniques that we use.
Mhm.
We've had a lot of practice in 15 years to figure
Yeah.
out what works and what doesn't. And so there's procedures that we use even during EVP sessions to make sure that we get the best stuff that we know that's not contaminated.
Yeah.
You know, use of
Interesting.
the handheld meters and stuff. There's even certain ways to take an EMF meter and use it in a house in the proper directions and stuff.
Huh. That's
So I trained
interesting.
that, so everybody knows how to work all the equipment. Everybody knows how to set up the DVR cameras. I
Yeah.
mean, the training is extensive.
Yeah.
And my
Interesting.
team
And Yoda or R2D2. Yeah, you're
yeah,
right.
hangs out.
We
I
need
use
we
some
need
weird,
more R2D2s.
not just RGD2. I have some real bizarre equipment I use that people don't expect to be used out in the field.
Yeah.
This bug,
Interesting. What's something that's odd?
a bug jar
A bug jar?
thing called, and it came out like 8 years ago, called My Pet Firefly.
Okay.
And it's a wire that has like a firefly on it that has like, well, they have regular butterfly ones, and then there's ones that glow in the dark, so it's the pet firefly.
Okay.
And when you touch the top of the jar, it's got diodes at the top. So when you touch the top of the jar, the firefly jumps around on the wire and lights up.
Mhm.
And we use that on investigations.
Yeah. That
The
sounds
ghost
like so you just stick it in, like, the middle of the table?
and ask questions.
Oh,
Yes
wow,
and no
and so
answer.
you're like, 2 blinks for yes and 1 blink for no?
Yeah. And
Wow.
what's interesting is I've had EVPs where the ghosts are actually commenting on it.
Really? They're like, "What is this bug jar?"
Yeah, they laugh because it looks like a. I had one investigator actually thought it was a real firefly one time we were in this cave, and she goes, "You better put holes in the top of that. That thing's gonna die." I'm like, "No, no, no, no. It's a fake firefly." But yeah, I mean, we found that it works, and it's a thing where it's like an EMF. It's like an EMF trigger where they touch the top and they can
Yeah,
make the thing jump around.
that is really neat. That's
Yeah.
really neat.
So I like using really off the wall, off the wall. Or I have a whole box. My dad used to build wooden toys.
Uh-huh.
So I think it's great for old hotels, some of the old stuff like old guns,
Mhm.
and so I have this big box. I open up, there's jewelry in there. There's crystal, well, probably what looks like crystal, can't afford crystal. But
Yeah.
there's like, there's like perfume bottles in there and stuff. And
Yeah.
we'll get that stuff out for triggers.
Wow.
I have all kinds of stuff over the years. I even take vodka bottles in.
And what do you do with the vodka bottles? They tip them over? Or I
Put
mean,
them on
what do
bar
you
and sit there, play poker with the dead people.
nice.
you
And they're
know?
like, "Yeah." Do you give them their own cup?
Yeah, I was in this with a newspaper reporter in Placerville in this area that used to be part of a saloon, and we even got the sound. We caught it on a EVP recorder of somebody like taking a shot glass and turning it over and slamming it down on the bar.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's really cool.
yeah,
That's awesome.
yeah. So I take stuff in like that, and I know we did this thing at the Murphy's Hotel where we actually played that one of the maids had gone through there to clean it and said she saw three men playing poker in this room. And so we go in there. We had a DVR camera on us, and we go in there, and I start dealing out, the hand and everything. And every time the ghost won, the lights would blink.
Wow.
So it's kind of cool. It's stuff
That
like
is neat.
that. So it's fun. It's fun to use trigger objects and different
Exactly.
things like that.
There's a hotel in, Carmel, the La Playa
Oh,
Hotel.
I could see Carmel. Yeah, I do Carmel.
Yeah. The La Playa Hotel is super haunted.
Really?
Yeah, it is. You'll go in there and you'll get readings almost off of that.
Oh, that's awesome. I gotta go in that hotel. I haven't
Yeah,
been there yet. I gotta find out. I gotta get some. Yeah, I could use a trip to Carmel.
yeah. Just head down there. If I was still in Big Sur, I'd be like, "Oh, you could come stay with me."
See, I could do
That
the
was 6
hotel,
months
but I
ago.
could go to the lighthouse, right?
Yeah,
See,
that's
I'm
right.
thinking outside the box.
That's right, that's
So
right.
you lived in Big Sur.
Yeah. I lived in Big
Wow.
Sur, and then, I guess it's been a year since I've lived in Big Sur. I keep wishing it was only a couple months ago, but yeah, it's a year now, darn it. I do miss it. I absolutely loved it down there. But now I guess I'm on a new East Coast adventure. It's very
Maren
different
McKay.
out here. It
You
is
have
very
a new
different
name.
out here.
You have a new nickname. Mary
Oh.
McKay says, Marin, the friendly, what is it? The friendly ghost whisperer.
Thank you, Mary.
Hey, and for those of you guys, and I'm going to have to do a shameless plug here too. For those of you guys watching from YouTube, subscribe, man. There's this little ghost, like probably on Marin's chest. Sorry, didn't mean it to be there. But there's this little ghost guy that's down there in the corner, and he's got a little Sherlock Holmes hat on with a magnifying glass. That's our mascot. So subscribe to our videos. We have lots of videos. We have over 200 that we've done with some really cool guests. So just to let you know, that way you have an update when these new things come out. But the friendly ghost whisperer, I like that.
That is funny.
Oh yeah, I'll have to get down there because I've been wanting to do. I've been wanting to do that lighthouse too.
Yeah, the lighthouse down there, that's a really great. And I was down there with my friend Summer. She's a child. So I went down there. She was like my best friend for a long time. And we went down there when she was 8 to the lighthouse, and we did a ghost tour. Well, we
Mhm,
we missed the ghost tour, so we did the full moon tour.
mhm.
And someone was talking about ghosts, and of course I wanted to bring up ghosts anyway because I told her this could be haunted, because I'd take her on like little fairy hunts and things like that. And we get there, and so everybody's sitting there's this room where you can watch a video. I guess it's like you go buy your trinkets room.
Mhm, mhm.
But you also sit there and watch the history of the thing, and the door is closed. And all of a sudden, um, the wind started coming from the ceiling, and there was nothing open, and she was like, "Ah!" And she went and she got like the person that was giving the tour, and she says, "Is there a ghost specialist here, because there's wind coming in from the ceiling?" And so it happened right there. And that's another place that really does have hauntings, and it's really truly active. So you can go there and experience the haunting. The old mission has
There
been
you go.
told to have hauntings down there as well, but really truly the La Playa Hotel has
Okay,
a
cool.
lot of hauntings, and you can go. I think you can probably just go and hang out, have a drink of water in the backyard or wherever it is, and you'll definitely feel something. So if you or any of your
Fantastic.
viewers are
I'll have
heading
to
down
do that.
there, that's
I
a
want to make a trip
that's
to
a
Morro
great
Bay at
place.
some point anyway, so it's right on the way. So that'll work.
Yes, and Morro Bay is a good place too.
So what made you move from California to the Northeast?
Hmm. Taxes. No. Um,
Yeah,
no, really,
gas
I
prices at
actually
this point.
ended up leaving Big Sur because, it was getting very crowded.
Okay.
So a lot of tourists starting to come down there, 'cause, HBO did a program called Big Little Lies
Mhm.
with Reese Witherspoon and these other famous people, and they filmed it literally at the bottom of my driveway. And so we had people. I used to have like this little short drive. It was like, 20 minutes to go into town to go to the grocery store. And after that show, you would look down the highway that would go up towards the grocery store, up towards Carmel, and it would be backed up past my driveway, and it would take
Wow.
hours to get out there. So they fixed the roads there, but it's just unfortunately, a lot of people are littering. There's garbage everywhere, and it was just, I guess I was like, you know what? We need less people on the coast over here to keep the
Mhm.
coast healthy, and so I've found another place to be kind of a recluse.
There you go. Absolutely. Nothing wrong with that.
That's
Maren, it has been an hour. We have chatted. It has been fun. It's always fun to have you on. I thank you for coming on. I appreciate it.
well, thanks for inviting me.
It was fun.
Yes, we always have a good time. It's so easy to talk to you.
And everybody that put up with us tonight, hey, hey, yeah.
Thank you very much.
This is my Friday. I do shows Sunday through Thursday. So, yeah. Thank you so much for coming on. I really appreciate it. I'll have to get out to where you are. I want to check out your castle.
Yes, you need to come. Doors open.
Sounds good. We'll bring all the gear and we'll fix them ghosts.
Yeah, that's right. We'll have a
Stay
tea
in
party.
touch. The next couple weeks should be interesting for you as you get more stuff going at your house.
Yeah, I'll let you know.
Yeah, I mean, that's just how it is. That's why I know we're going to be doing some remodeling here too. So it ought to be interesting to see what. I had a tree fall on my house like a year and a half ago or something.
Oh my
And
gosh.
because of COVID, everything went on hold.
Yep.
And so they're gonna start taking off the I actually get a real patio in the back, which I'm real excited about because we have an enclosed patio room that now it's got a big hole in it, but
Yeah.
they're gonna take that completely down, and I'm gonna have a nice little barbecue space back in there and
Oh,
stuff.
that'll be nice. I'll have to come out
And
and we'll have a
so I'm
barbecue.
curious to see what happens when they actually start, tearing stuff down, what's gonna happen. Because you can definitely feel stuff in my backyard even when you're out there.
Mhm.
So it's going to be interesting to see what transpires with that. How
Yeah.
active it is. So yeah, so I'm looking forward to doing that.
All right. Well, I'm going to pay attention to find out what happens to
There
you.
we go. Well, thank you so much for coming on again. I appreciate it. It's always fun.
All right. I'll talk to you later.
All right, Maren, bye.
All right. Bye-bye.
Okay, it's always fun to have her on, and I appreciate her coming on. If you like the show, share it with 5 people. If you hated the show, share it with 5 of your enemies. We're equal opportunity here at California Haunts Radio. Be sure to check us out at californiahauntsradio.com. And again, you see that ticker down at the bottom. That's because, like I said earlier in the show, we are nonprofit. And everything you see here comes out of my pocket. And I love doing this show. I'm a journalist photographer by trade. And and I love bringing these guests on. This is what I do. And if you could kind of help me to pay the bills here and keep up with the equipment, that would be great. That's at paypal.me at California Haunts. Or if you are uncomfortable with PayPal and you're in Venmo, you can do that at Venmo and just type in California Haunts. And that would be great because I want to keep the show on the air and, internet costs and all that other good stuff and StreamYard costs and whatnot. But anyway, now Sunday we do a Sunday afternoon read at 6 p.m. every Sunday. Right now, we're reading The Way Through the Woods by Anna Maria Manalo. And it's a really great book. And it's about, from what I can tell, it takes place World War II Germany. And this girl, and I get the feeling this girl is going to get captured by the Nazis or something's going to have a long line because she has to get through the woods to escape. And the woods are haunted. And it's based on a true story. So it's really a cool book. People seem to enjoy it. So we'll be reading that at 6 p.m. Pacific on Sunday. And then Monday, we're going to be in Hollywood. Well, not in Hollywood, but we're going to be talking with some tour guides in Hollywood who do ghost tours. And they're going to tell us about some of the haunted studios and things like that in the Hollywood area. So that's going to happen Monday at the usual time at 6:30 p.m. But Sunday, we will be on the air at 6 p.m. again, reading our book from it, The Way Through the Woods. I want to thank you guys for coming on. Be sure to subscribe to our YouTube page. We're looking to expand our YouTube and get as many subscribers as we can. And like I said, we want to keep guests like Maren coming on. We love to have people like Maren. If you go to our YouTube page, you'll see all the varying topics that we actually do have with the show. And yeah, there's a lot to look at. But I want to thank you guys, and I hope everybody has a great weekend. I know. Well, I mean, yeah, you guys will have my weekend starting. So, like I said, so tomorrow's my Saturday. So, I hope everyone has a wonderful weekend, and I will see you Sunday.